Hey guys, welcome back. It is tutorial day. We're going to be taking a look at counterfeits. We're going to take a look at a few counterfeits that have popped up with some unusual stuff that you don't usually see. Most of the counterfeits that come across my desk or across the Discord. If you have questions, if you want to learn this stuff, watch the videos on the counterfeit stuff. And then second, if you're still second guessing, if you're like, ooh, this too good to be true, awesome thing is too good to be true, but I'm still having my doubts that it's fake, bring it on into the Discord, post some pictures, and we can kind of guide you in the right direction. If you're buying stuff that's expensive and it seems to be not that expensive, it's a bad sign and you need to be looking out for this stuff. If you're buying expensive cardboard, it doesn't matter if it's Pokemon or something else, you need to know what you're looking at, or you shouldn't be touching it because there is very much the potential to get ripped off. And most of this stuff should be to the trained eye. Even if you only have a couple years in Pokemon, if you're watching these videos, if you're looking at cards to any extent, you should be able to tell this stuff is fake. Some of it is a little bit more deceptive than others, and today we're going to go through a couple examples that are a little bit different. We got black label fakes now that we got to deal with. I guess it was only a matter of time. Those things are super crazy expensive to the extreme, so it doesn't surprise me. We have PSA graded cards that are fake. You need to know. Not only do you need to know what a fake card looks like, you need to know what a fake case looks like if you're buying graded cards. And today we're going to go through some of that. I'll touch on some stuff, some other material that you can go back and watch. But let's start out with we got these sticker Charizards. Now, be careful because the back of the card is going to look great. The case is probably not going to look great. There's always differences in the cases themselves. The cases have changed over the years, so if you're referring to one case to another, just because it's an older label, a different label, different case, whatever, doesn't mean it's necessarily fake. You got to compare one to the other. And most of this is comparison. Someone's like, hey, how do I tell if something's fake? Look up the real thing, look up the cert number, look up what you got to look up, and compare it. It's like I spot the difference. We're bringing it back to grade school. We're spotting the difference.
So upon a little bit of further investigation, this is how the Charizard was before I took it out of the case. It's printed on an authentic card. This piece is authentic. That holo I believe to be real, and then they placed this over top of it. That is scary stuff, guys. Be careful out there.
All right, so shout out to Joshua Ottawa who put this out here. I wish that he would have shown, I guess, the case and the card in more detail before it got separated here. But you need to be checking the front. You need to be checking the back. Sometimes, I mean, they can print a Charizard. They can print whatever onto a real card. So you have to be careful for that. You need to be checking the print on the front and the back. The back is usually a dead giveaway because it'll be the wrong color. It'll look like crap, and the backs of cards have not changed. So even if you don't have the card handy, that is the card that you're looking at purchasing, that you're looking at to, if you have it in person, you can tell, or even in images. The backs are usually a dead giveaway. The color is going to be off. The print's going to look like dog water to the extreme. Now this, if you just check the back, you might be in trouble. Same with if they printed it on, or if they sticker it on here. We got a real card back with the fake Charizard sticker on the front of it to make it look like it's a real card. So it's going to feel like a real card. Well, other than the front might be a little bit weird. But again, man, for the amount of people that have been ripped off by this sort of thing, be careful. Learn it before you get into buying expensive stuff. There are many people out there that are going to try and rip you off. Same thing here. We got Papa Llama, who says, my cousin got finagled in a trade for this. This stuff goes around the playground, I guess. Yeah, playground or even the marketplaces, all your anywhere, essentially. There's tons of fakes on eBay as well. Thank you to everyone that's been reporting the eBay listings. More often than not, they do get taken down. And yes, I know we can't flag every single fake card that's on eBay. It's basically impossible. That's something that they're going to have to develop themselves. But what it does do is maybe we save some people from getting ripped off. Now, we got the Charizard here, and again, this is the same thing. They've already separated it, so it looks kind of worse than it would if it did, like from the beginning. And this is going to have the real holo pattern. It's gonna look like the real holo pattern because it's a sticker over top of a real holo pattern. And you see on this one here, they didn't remove the entirety of the back. This was a muck at one point in time. They gave him the old wiperoo. and put the sticker over top. So be careful for these. Yes, be careful. Just be careful in general. Make sure you're paying with a payment method in a way that you can get your money back if you get ripped off. Now, we're going to go back in time here to 2019 and my microscope resource thread on E4. We got some images here. So we got a real Dragonair, a fake Dragonair. This fake Dragonair is maybe the best fake that I have ever seen. This is pretty damn good. Other than like the first edition stamp clearly has some problems with it, but the card itself is a scan and a print of a scan of a real card and printed onto a fake card. So we got some wild stuff here. You can go take a look at this. I also have some microscope videos that you can take a look at. You don't necessarily need. So we're taking a look at the measurements here on the stamp itself. You can see there's clearly a difference in the print. This is the real one on the top here, where we have sort of ink dots that are coming down to make this solid black layer. And here we have just a solid kind of stamped on print. So clearly a different print method. You can kind of see some differences within the other stuff here, but the bottom card here is fake. And again, it's very close to the real thing. Here you can see just, this is the kind of thing that they probably need to go into detail. They need to get to this magnification in order to see if somebody has been polishing their cards. If this is off, if this looks off, if they don't, again, it's going to be something like this that they're going to have to do. Do they need to equip every single grader with something like this in order to see if stuff's been polished or altered or anything like that? Yeah, probably. But that's expensive. So will the grading companies do it? Probably not. We got the side-by-side. Again, looking pretty good. That's as good as it gets. Now, if we're checking the front, of the card, the black text on the card, the black text and the red text is going to be super sharp. It's printed on like this. This is the real Dragonair text. Well, the DRA and part of a G on the real card. And you can see here, very solid. If it starts to look like this, if it's got dots and weird artifacts all going around it, that's because it was scanned and then printed onto the other card. Again, this is as good as it gets. This is the best counterfeit I have personally ever come across. We got the 80. Again, the red text or the text for the numbers, the letters on the card itself are all going to be super sharp. And you can see here, super sharp on the real one. Not sharp on the fake one, and that was a scan. So we got the energy is a little bit harder to tell, but again, it's a little bit sloppier, and you can see some artifacts because it's a scan. Same with the lines. The lines should be a nice solid line like this. Here, where it's a scan of a line and printed the line, it kind of got it got some dots around it because the scanner is not perfect. Now, the P-hole test. I always tell everyone, P-hole test is the first place you want to check. Easiest place to check. Again, it's not foolproof because if it's a fake front on a real card, then you might get fooled by this bad boy. But again, get a jeweler's loop. They're like $4 if you want to wait a while. They're a little bit more than that if you want to get one instantly. Maybe you got Amazon Prime. But here's what the real thing's going to look like. Nice and clean. This should look like a checker pattern when you're not zoomed in this far. It's not magnified this far, and this is the fake one. So it should be a nice clean checker pattern here. You can check it with a loop. You can kind of check it with your phone if you have a good camera on your phone, and you get in there. You take a nice clean picture close up on the P-hole, and then you blow it up. You should see the same kind of checker pattern. Again, the vast majority of cards, you should be able to tell that they're fake before even getting to this level. But again, if we get into the craziness that is... so you can see here, I guess we'll move on from that. But essentially, you get the gist. You want to be able to look at these dots if something is like the best counterfeit of all time. We got a microscope playlist. I'll put that down below as well. All the links I'll put at the top of the description here. So you guys can easily access them for anyone that missed out on this stuff. The videos are a little bit older. They're 3 years ago. I probably wasn't quite as good, if I even am now, at talking to the camera. So keep that in mind. But I go through a lot of different fakes, a lot of different counterfeits, and how the differences between the real and the counterfeit cards work. We got sun bleach stuff as well there. So a little interesting sort of experiments to take a look at this stuff. And I think it's all important stuff to know, just in case there's something really crazy. Now, this is the one that I recommend. This is the one that's in the descriptions. This is the one that's in the links, codes, deals, channel on the Discord. It's $3.96. I think it used to only be a couple dollars before. Inflation will get you like that, but for the sake of having it on standby when you need it, $4 is very little to spend when you're buying expensive cardboard. So please, for the love of God, if you don't have one already, just pick one up. Why not? If you want to get one right away, it's going to cost you like $6. 30X is a good one to pick up. You don't need one with a light or like any crazy accessories, a back scratcher, anything that these other ones have here. That's overkill. If you want to get something like that, go for it. But what I'm saying here is you need $4. $4 will get you what you need. Get a couple of these black lights. You can check your PSA case. It'll also be useful if you're checking for inking or anything like that on the card. Stuff like that will show up. Good to pick up. Oh, maybe, I guess you can also check for your dog's urine on the bed. Or your cat. If your cat pees on you, then you can check to see if that happened or not. Just in case you can't feel it. All right. Now, the link tree. Thank you very much to everyone that's been using the link tree, using the links, using the discount codes. This is the best way to support the channel. Again, we get demonetized quite a bit. We got a lot of false flags from scammers and whammers. So the best way to support the channel is by getting a good deal on the stuff that you're going to buy anyway. Clicking the links before the stuff you're going to buy anyway. This is all stuff that you should be buying. That's very useful, that I use myself. Thank you to everyone that's been using it. Troll and Toad, Card Market, Secura's Card Shop, helping make the openings very possible on the channel here in a time where we got to dump quite a bit of money into a legal battle. So very much appreciated for them keeping the channel up and running. It is truly appreciated. Now, we got the P-hole test here. Here's a nice little example of the P-hole test. We kind of looked at that already. Very cool. Packs. Same thing with packs. Same thing with booster boxes. Take a look at what the real thing looks like. If there's discrepancies, I mean, if there's zigzags on the pack, you know the pack is fake. But just in terms of the packs themselves or the booster box itself, if the wrap looks off, make sure you're comparing the logos. The Wizards logos on the wrap itself, or the Pokeballs if it's a newer booster box. Make sure you're comparing that. If there's anomalies, then you got to keep digging to see if it's reputable. Is it coming from somewhere that it's not enough money? It's way too cheap. It's way too good of a deal. But on the boxes themselves, usually there's discrepancies. So you can look in around like the little peek hole on the older booster boxes, the kind of like the flaps and stuff like that, to see if it's cut out the same way, the same pattern. That sort of thing is kind of like a dead giveaway. And the majority of it is that. You got to be very careful for reseals and stuff along those lines. But again, most importantly is, are you buying it from somewhere reputable? You should not be buying it from some weird place that there's no reason to. You might say like, oh, I can save some money. But at the same time, just buy, especially if it's something that you're keeping sealed, especially with the Japanese product. I should have included that in this video. But there's still, yes, it seems like there's less scamming going on in terms of the Japanese sealed product, but it still exists. It still happens. Be careful. Be careful with sealed product. Most importantly, you either get it yourself from somewhere reputable when it comes out, or if it's something older, get it from somewhere reputable that has receipts of where it came from. They should be able to tell you where it came from. Now, fake PSA cases. This is a new one. We've seen some on the Xiao videos. Maybe I'll put a link to the Xiao videos as well. Maybe I'll put it at the end of the video here where you can click on that. But here's a fake PSA case. And if you can't tell if this is fake or not, you need to stop what you're doing and you need to take a look, and you need to watch this video, but you also need to take a little bit of time to learn what you're buying, what you're looking at here. This is from Kleza108 on Twitter. Excuse me. And we have right away I can tell this is fake. We got too much glitter action going in the PSA little logo here. The font is not right what it should be. And again, this is coming from me. I crack PSA cases every now and then because I want to put them in the binder. But again, I haven't handled more graded cards than a lot of people. but I am looking at Pokemon cards every day. Right away, you can see in the corner here, we got a little snaggle waggle. That should not be there. That is an immediate red flag. The 21 on the bottom looks kind of wrong. The PSA logo down here, where it kind of looks wrong, but it's also in a plastic baggie, is a little bit concerning. But in around these, all the features here, the little nubbins, the triple nubbins, I don't know what they're actually called, what they actually call them. There should be 3 lines down the sides. Again, this is all going to be stuff that's easier to see in person, but if you're buying it online, and it's expensive, or it's too good to be true, yeah, you're asking for a bad time if you don't have buyer protection in some way. Now, here, we got it highlighted here. This is the biggest giveaway here. These inside corners should be very sharp with the Zhao cases that we've looked at before and that are going to be linked in the description and at the end of the video. These were more kind of rounded because they took an actual mold of the case. I think this is just a straight up counterfeit case that was created from scratch to look like the real thing. The frosting should look a little bit different on the fake ones compared to the real thing, but these inside corners should be very sharp. If they're not sharp, it's either a mold of a real case, or in this case, it looks like it's just a bad counterfeit. I mean, this will fool people. I've seen people fall for far more egregious, terrible examples, stuff that should be obvious, stuff that is obvious for people that have experience. But there's an entry point for people, so you gotta feel for the people starting out. Send them this video if you got to. If you got someone that's like all the time asking, "Hey, is this real? Hey, is this real?" They're looking to spend a lot of money. And even more egregious here is the fact that the backside of this bad boy is a real PSA case. You can see here the 21 is in the correct spot. So that's one thing here. We got the 21 is not in the correct spot. And again, little details like that, don't get stirred up. Make sure you're looking at a certain number that's very close to the real thing, or you look up the real thing in order to see if it's real or not. Now, the blocking of the cert number is concerning. Now, some people do this because they're afraid people are going to steal the images of it. Other people do it because they're trying to hide something. In this case, they can't have a back picture of a real card that doesn't have a cert number that matches the front, so they're going to block it out in order to deceive people. There's no reason to block these. I've seen some people block the number and then they don't block the barcode, which is kind of hilarious because the barcode, if you scan it, just gives you the cert number. So there's some of that. So it doesn't mean someone's scamming just because they blocked it out. Sometimes they block it out because unless it's something like crazy valuable, there's not really any reason. If you want to put a watermark on there instead of blocking it out and put like your name across the case, it's probably more useful. If you want to Sharpie it on, if you don't want to go in and put some text across the middle part here, just put who you are, what you are, or maybe on the stand itself. We get people with those 3D printed stands. But we got a real case, real back on this bad boy. And look out for stuff like that. Let's see if I think there's another example here. Same thing. And then we got, okay, so this is Yahoo Japan. You got to be very careful on Yahoo Japan. You can use Buyee. You can save some money, 10% off. But if you're buying stuff like this, you got to be extra super careful. This is so risky. Sealed product is risky from your Yahoo Japan and your Mercari Japan. Same with expensive cards, whether they're graded or not. You got to be very careful because they can send you pictures of one card. They can send you something else. There's basically no way to get your money back. It's basically a free-for-all on there. So the vast majority of the time on the stuff that's not that expensive, you're going to get what you asked for. But be careful. Be careful. Be careful. Be careful. eBay is pretty good. Do not tell someone on eBay that you're reselling cards because apparently that's a loophole where they can screw you. But in terms of buyer protection, eBay, PayPal. eBay and PayPal, do not tell the seller that you're going to be reselling or that you resell items because it's like a loophole where you can't get your money back. It's the stupidest thing of all time. I have a video on that, but just be careful out there. Where there's money, there's people that are looking to rip you off. So here's the, okay, so this is not necessarily the same card or the same one that's imitated here. We don't know what the cert number is on this fake one, but we can see before and after pictures here. You can see the difference in the font. You can see the nice crispy clean corners that are on the inside of the case here. You can see the differences in the triple nubbins. There's kind of a difference in the color of the card itself, which is probably largely to do with lighting, but also it could be that the counterfeit is not exactly perfect. Now, we've seen it with the Zhao examples. There can be a real card in a fake case. It can be a real card. It can be a fake label. Not a fake label. It would be a real label. It'd be a real card, real label, but it's the wrong card. It's not the card that got the label. It's a lesser condition copy that got swapped in, and then the case is fake. So you need to be checking all of these aspects. The more expensive the card is, the more of these checks you need to be doing. But I mean, if you're experienced, if you're buying this stuff all the time, if you know what you're doing, if you've watched enough of this stuff, and you've seen enough cards, you should immediately question this thing as soon as you see this weird corner. And again, this corner is also, all the corners are kind of not what they should be. The frosting is not what it should be. You need to know what you're doing. Be careful. Now, and then the more people that pass it off, it might not necessarily be the person that is selling you the card that is trying to rip you off. They might have got ripped off, and then they're kind of passing it down the line, which makes things even more complicated, trying to get everyone's money back, trying to get this stuff back. I was actually thinking about it, and it's weird to me that we don't have, like, PSA should probably have, if there's like known counterfeits or something like that, somewhere on the cert page to report it, to maybe submit a ticket. You can put like a link or something like that, like, hey, there's a fake of this cert number being sold. I wish they would put something on here exactly, like they have the photos of the real thing, but if there are counterfeits, I think it'd be beneficial for them to show the counterfeits on here. They don't necessarily even have to go into crazy detail about what's wrong with the counterfeit, but I think just deactivating it, removing the image of the real thing is not ideal. I think even just leaving this up here, this one doesn't, to my knowledge, have counterfeits of it, but when it does, they'll shut it down. They'll say, like, this has known counterfeits. They'll get rid of the image. I think having the image still there would be useful for people to go in and be able to compare to the fake ones that exist. But to each their own. And then maybe somewhere that you can, like, report counterfeits, and then they'll have someone at PSA that's looking into it. They can take action against the people that are selling this stuff, and hopefully get it shut down. The fake cases, especially, that's kind of on PSA to make sure that that fake versions of their cases are not getting made or not getting distributed. That's kind of part of their responsibility, in my opinion. Now, if you have an older cert and there's no image of it, that sucks. That sucks really bad, but you can also just Google the cert number. Sometimes if you put the cert number and you put Pikachu or something like that, you can get a search. You'll get less of these random, what are these, fuel injectors? You'll get less fuel injectors and maybe more Pokemon cards. But chances are, if it's sold on eBay, if it's sold other places, if it was posted other places, you'll have images on here where you can compare them. If it's a fake card, oftentimes you'll see like some Etsy stuff here, some Alibaba, whatever, on the Google search, and you'll see, like, okay, if it's being sold there, if it's on Etsy, if it's on one of these other, like, platforms that are known for bootlegs, for counterfeits, then you're in trouble. Now, I included this one. This is kind of funny just because I don't know if this person's memeing or not, but this Auntie Slayer Drew says, I've never seen anything like this. I ordered some cards from Target, and apparently they cleaned out the lint trap and they're dry to put in the package. Amazon did this here for a while. I think it was Amazon. It's basically like recycled material that's inside the package. If you rip it open like in the middle or something like that, it's just going to make an absolute mess. So there should be like a pull strip or like end where you can open it up without getting it all over the place. It's kind of gross, but I guess they're trying to recycle. You would think that this is worse, just have paper, but if they need a padded envelope, I guess they didn't want to put plastic. Teach their own. I just thought that was funny. I don't know where it would go into another video, so we're just going to point it out now. So here we have it. This is dangerous. Micknick sent me this one. Thank you, Micknick, for sending it to me. We have Captain Clickety Clack, who we got a fake black label. Now, I haven't seen any Pokemon examples. If anyone has, please send them my way. If anyone's seen any other black labels or any other counterfeit Beckett stuff, please send it my way. I'd be interested in taking a look at it. But we got some clear differences, no pun intended, on the two Beckett slabs here. We have the same cert number, but the text on the label itself is wrong. It's weird that they did that. And again, This is going to be one of those things where you gotta spot the differences. I believe this is a fake card as well within the holder, but it could be a real one. Now, and you're saying, why would they put a real one in there? The incentive to have this in a black label, the price of the black label over any other graded copy, if they put a 9.5 in there, if they put a 9 in there, is insane. It's worth it. It's worth it essentially to a scammer. So you got to be careful with this. You got to be super careful with this. I don't know how much this goes for, but this has got to be super expensive. Yes, one piece. Yes, a lot of these other card games, the card condition is just super duper extreme, straight out of the pack, but the premium is real. The black label premium is real. I think the black label premium is a joke. I don't understand it, why people would pay for it. It's a flex thing. It's a flex. It's condition. You're collecting condition. This is the prime example of collecting condition over collecting the cards themselves, because most of the time, I say most of the time, if you're sending something in over and over again, if it gets a black label and you send it in again, the odds of you getting another black label from that card are basically non-existent. Same with a lot of the other stuff that we've seen. We had Rusty recently that was resubmitting CGC cards that were not even close to a pristine, that came back as pristines. So like even same grading company, send it in multiple times, you're going to get different stuff come back. Now, this could happen. This could be in Pokemon. You got to look at the differences here. We got some significant differences on the top of the case here where it's flat on the real thing. I wish there was better pictures of this, and maybe I can reach out to Clickety here and see if they have more examples, more photos, or where they got them exactly. But you can see even the serial number on the bottom, the patent number on the bottom of the case is different. We got the inside here is a little bit different. They do have the inner sleeve, which is interesting. We got a little bit more roughness going on. Again, there's just like countless examples, other than the label itself is wrong. In terms of like what's on the label, what's written out here. But if you don't have an example, if you don't look up what it's supposed to look at, like if you're not familiar with that, someone could get easily duped by this. I've seen, again, this is one of those things where I've seen people fall for far worse scams. So be careful. Again, we got the Beckett R is kind of a little bit crooked here as well. I mean, you can just look. Comparison is your strongest tool when you're looking for counterfeits here, because it's never going to be perfect. It's never going to be exact, especially when it's a known copy or example and you can find an image of it. Now, it does give us a little bit of an issue here where we can look up a cert, and if we don't have photos of it, and then if we go to Google and the only photos we have are like the comparison, like before the comparison is made, we could end up in a lot of trouble. So be careful out there, guys. Hopefully this was helpful. Hopefully someone learned something. And again, if you want to, if you're still hung up on something and can't tell if it's counterfeit, join the Discord, post it in the general chat, and myself or someone else will give you a hand with that. Now, it's better that way. Do not DM me. I probably won't get to it. It's better if it's in the general chat, then everyone's learning. And if I can't get to it right away, there's a good chance that someone else will give you a hand before I'm even privy to it. All right, take care. Happy Tuesday. Join the Discord. See you next time. Bye.